Hope you're having a great day today. Thank you so much for joining in. I am looking at giving you a quality session without any compromise. So let's get started. Welcome back. So far, you have learned past simple and past continuous, right? Today, we are looking at a tool that makes your English sound smart and clear at the same time, especially when you tell stories. Because many learners can say this happened, then this happened, but they cannot show which one happened first. That's where past perfect comes in. So look at the screen and I'll let you know the topic in detail. Okay, this is grammar tool number 7 in reference to past perfect tense. All right, so what it helps you to do, it helps you, you can use this when you want to show that one past action has happened before another past action. That's it. So you can use this particular tense when you are looking at kind of storytelling, that is, showing a sequence of past events, explaining causes in the past. It can be a reason or a result oriented explanation, talking about something already done before a past moment. Okay, now a very important thing is to know when exactly to use this. All right, so that is something we also call as decision trigger. Okay, so here's the shortcut question you always should ask yourself before using this tense. Okay, I'm going to come to this section a bit later. However, let me just talk about a shortcut question first. Now, what is the shortcut question that you'll be looking to ask yourself yeah, am I talking about the earlier past before another past? In the sense, am I going to talk about one particular action that has taken place in the past before another action? All right. Now, if you only have one past action, like I went to the market yesterday, that is just simple past, done. But if you have two past actions, like I reached home and then I ate my dinner, now we can show the order clearly here. That is, the person reached home and then he ate dinner, right? This is what is past perfect. Okay. So, for example, you can use it when you have two past action, as I just told you. You want to show which one happened first. Like I gave you an example, like I reached home, then I ate dinner. The person reached home first and then he had dinner, right? This is also in reference to this particular tense. You can use link words like before, after, when, by the time, etc. And if you want to explain that this happened earlier, so this happened later, then we are going to use past perfect tense. All right. And when you don't use this is when you have only one past action. Use only simple past. The order is already clear with time words and you're not comparing two actions. You're not supposed to use past perfect tense. You're supposed to use simple past itself. Okay, great. Now, past perfect is especially common with these words. Just to reinforce again, before, after, okay, when, and by the time. So anytime you see these words, think two past actions are present in the sentence. So which has happened first? You can order them accordingly. So if you look at the meaning, the third part, okay, the third part in this lesson is in reference to meaning first, means we are not looking at any kind of formula or any kind of structure here. We just kind of we are going to go ahead and try to understand or analyze what does the meaning itself tell you. The meaning pretty much says past perfect, right? What does that mean? Past in the sense this has happened earlier in the past. Perfect means before that past moment it was already done. Perfect. Okay. So past before past. That's it. So this particular tense can show a clear sequence. It can show story accuracy also, because when you're kind of telling out a story, you can always go ahead and use this particular tense, that is past perfect, in order to sound professional when you're giving out a particular narrative. All right. For example, I had finished dinner before they arrived. So basically, he had finished dinner before they arrived. So there is a presence of two such actions in a same sentence. So it is clearly past perfect tense. Okay. Now let's look at the structure, and it is super easy to remember. Look at this. The formula is subject plus had. Had is the only auxiliary verb that we'll be using under past perfect tense, plus verb 3. All right. Verb 3 is nothing but past participle as well. It is also known as past participle, plus the object. Let's look at a simple example. I had completed my work. Verb 3 is completed my work. Okay. Had is the only auxiliary verb that we'll be looking at using. Okay. And the best part, just remember this as something that I always try to highlight in every lesson that I talk about, is that however, in this particular tense series, all right, that is past perfect tense. Okay, the best part is had is the only auxiliary verb that is same for every other subject, like I, you, we, they, he, she, it. Everyone uses only one auxiliary verb, and that is had. Okay, all for it's similar for all the subjects. All right. And part 3, as you know, this part is the V3 form, that is done, gone, eaten, written, words like this. Let's quickly look at the negative form for today. Negative form, as I already told you in the past lessons also, is an inclusion of the word that is not. Okay, had not. So subject plus had not plus verb 3. I had not eaten. This is verb 3, eaten. Okay, eaten is verb 3. All right. I'll just show you a small table wherein I have just got you for you certain examples, so that you can understand what is the difference between verb 1, verb 2, and verb 3 as well. It's coming up next. All right. Before that, we are going to also kind of look at the question format. Again, to again, to kind of let you know that question form always allows the subject to take the secondary position. However, the auxiliary verb takes the not verbs here, it is only verb. Okay, here the auxiliary verb, that is had, takes the first position only when you look at a question form. So had, you is the subject. Had you reached home before I called? So things like this particular question format sometimes is confusing. However, it's very easy to remember. Whenever it's a question format, try to understand to keep your auxiliary verb at the primary position, push the subject to the second position. All right, great. Now please listen to this carefully. All right, when I tell you, when I tell you after had, you must use V3 form of verb, that is the past participle, not V1 and not V2. For example, it is go, went, and gone. Go is verb 1, right? Okay. Went is verb 2. However, gone is verb 3. All right. Eat, ate is verb 2, past. You can use it in past tense, simple past. Okay. Eaten is verb 3, wherein you're looking at using eaten for past perfect tense. Let me just write it as pp. Okay, great. Give, gave, given. Okay, bring, brought, and brought remains the same over here also for verb 3. Act, acted, acted itself. Okay, there are some verbs which do not change from verb 2 to verb 3. You can go online also and start making a note of them, so that you can wrap your heads around the theory of not going wrong when you're using verb 3, also when you're using past perfect tense as a communication tool or a grammar tool. All right, great. Let's look at the last one for today, that is fly, flew, and flown. All right, great. Now, in every lesson I include this session which talks about three core patterns. All right, what are the three core patterns? The three core patterns are pretty simple to understand because the first pattern itself is pretty basic. All right, it's basic in the sense you can just go ahead using the basic formula, that is subject plus had and verb in three form, okay, or third form. So I had finished my homework, right? Pretty simple. She had left the office. Again, a very simple sentence. However, when you look at pattern 2, it's the most useful one because it gives you a sense of using time as well when you're looking at using sentences or articulating sentences in this particular past perfect tense. Okay, so by time plus past simple and by time plus, this is, just don't go on this. It's error here. All right. So just hold on. Give me 1 second. Let me kind of go ahead and delete this part because it's creating a bit of confusion. All right. Now, if you can look at this particular um, example on the screen, guys, this one, okay, pattern 2 is the most useful one because it talks by time. All right, time is the only thing that we are kind of really looking at including in order to elaborate sentences. That's it. The pattern 2 also can be actually used by fluent speakers, or it can be used by people who are at an intermediate level as well. So look at the sentence, by the time. Okay, so you can use this particular phrase, by the time I reached. By the time I reached, they had started the meeting. Okay, by the time I reached, they had started the meeting. So in pattern 2, there is a sense of using simple past plus your past perfect tense, if you can understand what I'm saying. Okay, so what is happening here? By the time plus past simple or simple past, then followed by past perfect tense. Okay, by the time I reached, right? I reached is something wherein I'm kind of looking at using my simple past tense, not past perfect tense. Because I told you in past perfect tense, you will be kind of using had as an auxiliary verb. I reached is past tense, right? It's just simple past tense. So the formula for pattern number 2 is not very complicated, but if you are fluent enough, you can go ahead and use these kind of sentences as well. By the time I reached, they had started the meeting. So they is the subject here, had started, verb 3 form. This is our past perfect form, that is subject plus had and started, verb 3 form, the meeting. Okay, by the time she called, again this is simple past, I had slept. Very simple, right? Did you understand what I'm kind of saying? All right, if you have not quite understood this particular pattern, what I would want you to mostly do here is pause the video and read the sentences aloud and try to again listen to my voice, I think, so that you can understand what exactly I am letting you know. So pattern 2 is the most useful one for fluent speakers as well as people who are at an intermediate level. You really don't have to talk in terms of basic English. What you can do is that you can just pause the video and repeat these two sentences. Use these phrases or memorize these particular phrase, that is by the time. By the time I reached, okay, I reached is simple past. They had started is past perfect. Correct? So, what are you doing? You're trying to add two tenses here and you're trying to speak, speak a sentence. So by the time I reached, they had started the meeting. Second sentence, by the time she called. By the time she called is simple past. I had slept is past perfect. So you are adding two tenses here. This is a kind of a complicated, I can't say not complicated, I'm sorry, it's a bit of it's an enhanced version or a kind of patterns where you can add or subtract pretty much any tense and make your English sound enhanced and fluent or proficient at any given point of time. Okay, great. Let's move on to pattern 3. Now, what does pattern 3 talk about? It's the story mode, according to me. Why? Because it talks about before and after as your star players or your star words. All right. I had eaten before I went out. After I paid, I left the shop. After I had paid, I left the shop. Okay. See, look at the sentence here. You can just say it, just say like I had paid and left the shop. But then it sounds incomplete. So add words like before and after when you're looking at using these three core patterns. What best can you do? Again, the same drill, guys. Just go ahead, pause the video, and make your own sentences using these patterns. What best can you do? Right? And why do you have to do that? Obviously, because you need to understand what I'm speaking about. Great. Now, let's look at certain real life examples, okay, in relation to daily life. I had, okay, I had already eaten. Eaten is a V3 form. I told you, right? You can always use already in between words like already, okay, before, after, by the time. All these words give a gist of enhancement to the way you speak. All right. So I had eaten can be the sentence, but I prefer using already because it makes my English sound, um, I can say embellished in the sense a bit better than what I would really rather want to speak. Okay, great. So I had already eaten before my friend came. See, I have used before and already as well in the same sentence. She had slept. Here are past perfect tenses done. She had slept. That's it. Our past perfect tense is done here. What else do you want to say about this girl? She had slept before the guests arrived, right? Now, that is the use of these words, guys. Before, after, already, by the time, and all. I think it's pretty clear here. Okay, great. Work, office. Okay, work or office scenario. How would this sound? Okay, we had finished the report before the deadline. The manager had left before I reached. All right. Social or WhatsApp. Sorry, I had fallen asleep. See, fallen. EN. It's a V3 form of fall. Okay, great. Sorry, I had fallen asleep. If you miss, if you miss a call or if you forgot to message someone back, you can just say this. Sorry, I had fallen asleep. I had already texted you. All right. You can just say I had texted you, but already kind of gives you a sense of completion. Great. This tense is not just grammar, guys. This tense is real communication. So I would advise you to go ahead and practice past perfect tense with a lot of interest because it kind of gives you that sense of communication. Yes, it is a grammar tool. However, it's very useful when you're communicating or speaking to someone. Let's look at the contrast corner. Often this tense gets confused with simple past. Why? See, simple past is one finished action, right? However, past perfect is there is an earlier action. Before that, another past action has taken place. Let's quickly look at a example pair. I reached home and ate. That's it. This is a simple sequence. This is simple past. Okay? Or past simple. Anything you can really call. Now, I had eaten before I reached home. Had. See, the whole game changes with the use of had. When had comes in, you really need to know that you're dealing with when had comes in before the verb 3 form, before the past participle, when had comes in, you need to understand that this is the past perfect tense. Okay? What does it do? It shows earlier past clearly. What is it telling about the earlier past in this particular sentence? It's saying that I had eaten before I reached home. Probably this particular person has eaten on the way home, or he has just stopped, kind of did a pit stop and had a sandwich or something even before he reached home. So that is past perfect tense for you. Clear? Great. Let's look at certain common mistakes, okay, and their fixes as well, along with the reasons that's supposedly given. Let's look at it. So I had ate before I went. No, you can't use ate. Why? Because ate is not the V3 form. Okay, it is a V2 form. So I had eaten before I went out. Okay. She has finished before I came. Many people do that. Okay, if you want to say, see, look at the sentence. She has finished before I came. There are two actions, right? She has finished and there's a person who came in. So here you're kind of looking at two past actions. So that is why both actions are in the past. That is the reason why this is past perfect tense. You can't use has here. No chance. Okay. By the time I reached, they had start. Start? No. Start is what? It's not a verb 3 form. That is why this is incorrect. The correct sentence will sound something like this, right? The third sentence. What is this? By the time I reached, they had started. Okay. And that is the reason. I went out because I had forgot my phone. Again, the same thing. Forgot is not the V3 form. Forgotten is the V3 form. So I went out because I had forgotten my phone at home. Okay. Why? Because V3 form has not been used here. This is incorrect and this is the right sentence. Had you went there before? No. Here, went again is not the V3 form. The V3 of go is nothing but gone. So instead of using went, we are going to be using gone. So I hope I'm clear when you look at the common mistakes as something that you need to be clear of. Okay. Why? Because there are certain things that you need to understand when you're looking at using these tenses. Common mistakes are something that if you know in detail, I don't really think that you'll be going wrong, right? Yes. Let's look at the micro conversation center here. What do you understand by using past perfect tense in clarity is what I'm going to let you know now. Okay. See, look at the screen situation. Okay, this is a situation based technique where I'm kind of sharing with you where exactly you can analyze that this tense is being used. All right. So what if someone asks a person, what had you accomplished before you started high school? What had you? Look at that. What had you? Right, right. This is a question. What did I tell you about the question, guys? Here, let me scroll up. I'm not going to talk now. I want you to take that time. Can you just look at this section? Look at this section. Can you look at this section? Yes. So, what did I tell you? Whenever there is a question form, the auxiliary verb comes in first, and then your subject takes the second position, this. Okay, then followed by your V3, right? Same thing when you look at this under the conversation section. What is an extra addition? Now look at this. Had you. Subject has taken the second position here, as you can see, and had auxiliary verb has taken the first position. Accomplished, that is the V3, verb 3 has taken the third position, right? What had you accomplished before you started high school? All right. So the answer the person says is in the past perfect tense. Okay, being in the past perfect tense only, I'm going to answer saying I had completed several art projects and won a few competitions. How beautifully done that is, right? Let's look at the second example. Had you ever tried a new food before your last birthday? Yes, I had tried sushi. I had tried. Great. Our tense for today is covered here itself. We really don't have to talk about anything further, just in order to sound enhanced and to sound fluent, I told you we can use words like before, all right, and also words like first time. All these words an extra addition, all right, but other than that, our mother formula has been covered here. Okay. Yes, I had tried sushi for the first time before my last birthday. Next, what had you learned about yourself before you graduated from elementary school? Okay, again, you just kind of, I really want you to do this. You have to pause the video here and go through this micro conversation section all over again, all by yourself. I just can't keep repeating this for you again and again. However, what I'm going to do is, again, going to highlight this part, all right, and give you that famous symbol of mine that I do. Just give me a second. Okay. All right. It's not getting into a square mode, but that's okay. It's highlighted. So what I want you to do is pretty much pause the video, guys. Do it now. Do it now. Trust me. Okay, pause the video and read these questions and try to wrap your heads around the structure of past perfect tense. What did I say? Subject plus had and your verb 3 form. Notice something here. Every question asked also is in past perfect tense itself. Look at this third one. What had you learnt? Had you learnt? I told you in question forms, the builder sentence or the builder formula. You know what is the builder formula? The builder formula, the real formula is subject plus had and verb 3. But when it comes to question, your subject is pushed to the second position. However, the auxiliary verb takes the primary position, all right, followed by your verb 3. So, all the questions are also in the past perfect tense, and your answers as well are in the same particular tense. Great. So, what had you learned about yourself before you graduated from elementary school? The answer would be like this: I had learned that I am a good team player and enjoy helping others. As I told you, you can stop here. I had learned that I am a good team player. You can just stop here. Your answer could just be this. However, to accentuate the way you talk, you can just go ahead and add some more, extras. You can call them as extras. Great. There is this practice ladder, or this is also known as the guided practice session, where you have to do everything. I'm not going to give you any answers or anything. You have to pause the video and do this practice part in the video itself. You are not going to kind of get out of the video and do this. Only then you will be able to understand what I'm talking about. So I had fill this up before I left. Make your own sentences. She had dash by the time I called. They had not negative sentence dash before the exam. Had you dash before you came here? Question form. Remember, for question form, the sentence format changes. I told you, right? Yes. By the time we arrived, the movie had dash. Okay. Now combine in the sense I reached, they started. All right. By the time I reached, they started dash. You have to fill that up. Convert to what? I finished dinner, I went out. So when you convert this, it sounds like this: I had finished dinner before I complete the sentence. Make it a negative format, that is he had eaten. Okay, he had eaten. Make it a negative form. He had not dash. All right, great. Now, this step 3 is free speaking, wherein I kind of tell you you can personalize this. How do you personalize? How do you personalize, guys? I want you to talk about one thing that you really did in the past, which is in connection to your life. But keep in mind that you have to kind of use past perfect tense only when you're talking about this. One line: I had already dash before dash. By the time I dash, okay, fill up all these sentences and try to make your own. Pause the video and do that. The last section is 40-second speaking task. And what is that? Tell a small past story using by the time in 6 lines. Again, this is a model answer for you, as you can see on the screen. It's not something that, um, that you can redo. It's not something that I tell you to read aloud. What I want you to do here is pause the video, just go through this, and then you can, kind of make your own. All right, great. So here again, you have to do this on your own, guys. Do this section on your own. This is just a model answer. What I want you to do is use your own sentences, your own story has to be done here. You can take a piece of paper or maintain a notebook whenever you're kind of, plugging into these lessons and do these activities because they help you to enhance the way you speak. Improvement is only seen when you practice, and that is what I surely believe. I truly do that myself also. Okay. See, I had already bought the ticket. Then I called my friend. So there is a use of simple past as well as past perfect in this particular model answer. What I would want you to do really is just use only past perfect and kind of make this section. But again, to tell you that this particular section is a mixture of simple past plus past perfect tense. Okay. Great. A self check section for you. When you're looking at using past perfect tense as your grammatical tool, you have to see whether you used this particular verb, that is auxiliary verb, that is had, okay, plus your verb 3 form. Did I show past before past means did I kind of tell that there are two actions present in the same sentence? You have to see that if there are two actions, if there is only one action that has been done in the past, then it is only simple past. Okay. And also remember, do not use any of this, that is have or has. They are not used when you're looking at using past perfect tense as your tool. Okay. Now, a simple recap. Use past perfect to show an earlier action. Okay. Earlier action in the sense past action. Okay. Not any other action. Earlier past action. Another plus another past action. Okay. Followed by another past action. Two past actions have to be present in the same sentence. Only then you're kind of looking at using past perfect tense. Okay. Now, we are going to do the next tense we are going to really touch is the past perfect continuous tense. A mini call to action before I leave for today is write 3 sentences using by the time, had, and. If you want to comment, it's okay, otherwise you just need to do only one thing consistently and sincerely is practice. Okay. So tenses are not difficult, they are just time clarity. All right. Now, if you want full guided practice, speaking practice, daily feedback, and structured coaching, check out our GKPro course link in the description and keep following this free YouTube grammar series, guys, because this is a step by step constructed. It's pretty much strategically constructed for you guys only. Thank you so much for tuning in today and have a great day ahead.